Hello, bonjour, hola, assalamualaikum, selamat sejahtera. Welcome to Comat 2024. I'm Zain, your AI host for today. I'd like to go over a few points as a reminder to all audience on the etiquette of attending this webinar. First, everyone who attends this webinar will be given an e-certificate after each session. Therefore, do not forget to register your full name once the link for registration is open. Make sure it is typed correctly and your email address is accurate too. Only for teachers or education officers in Malaysia, please make sure you also provide your IC number. You will find the registration link is pinned in the live chat box of this YouTube channel. Second, teachers from Malaysia, don't forget to also register your attendance in SPL KPM. The registration link will be released 10 minutes before the session is over. Third, we would love to hear from you during today's presentation. If you have any questions for our speaker, please feel free to send them through the YouTube live chat box. The speaker will be answering your questions by the end of the session. If we don't answer your questions during today's webinar, we will be sure to follow through afterwards. Fourth, be respectful of others. When communicating, please be polite. Impolite language will not be tolerated, and audience who are rude will be removed from the webinar. Finally, we would appreciate it if you could share today's webinar with others through your social networks. Now that this is out of the way, let's get started with our very first session. Thank you for taking time to listen to this announcement. See you again soon. Terima kasih. Kamsahamnida Yorobun. Over to you now, Miss Moderator.
Assalamualaikum, selamat datang and welcome to the International Domestic Virtual Colloquium or COMAT 2024, organized by the Institute of Teacher Education, International Languages Campus, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I'm Razima Mustafa, your moderator for today's session. Our colloquium series entitled Towards Holistic Teacher Development in the Malaysian Teacher Training Institute, A Way Forward. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on our live EduWeb TV YouTube channel for COMAT 2024. The theme for this year's colloquium is Responsible Education for a Dignified Future. Similar to the previous year's installments, the goal of this colloquium is to provide the space for educators all over the world to discuss, share and exchange views with fellow educators on topics related to education and how it is transforming globally. Indeed, through this colloquium, there is plenty to learn and expand our knowledge. COMAT 2024 brings to you 18 series in the form of individual webinars with speakers from Malaysia and abroad. So this is the 30th series of our virtual colloquium, and I hope you will stay tuned to the end of the session. Okay, so first of all, let me introduce our first speaker for today's webinar. So please welcome Dr. Selva Nayagi. Okay, so let me read her biodata. Dr. Selva Nayagi Shanmugan has been in the education field for the past 32 years. She has served in the primary schools as well as secondary schools. She has experience teaching in rural and urban schools. In 2009, she joined English Language Teaching Center. She served ELTC for 9 years with the Policy Making and KPM English Language Initiative before joining IPG-KBA. She joined IPG-KBA in 2018 and headed the International Languages Department in 2020 for 2 years. In 2023, till now, she is heading the English Language Department. Next, I shall introduce to you our second speaker, Dr. Noor Mazni Abdul Karim. Dr. Mazni holds a doctorate in English Language Studies and currently is a senior lecturer at IPG-KBA. She has 27 years of teaching experience, 10 years in secondary schools and 17 years in IPT. Apart from teaching, she finds great joy in hiking and listening to religious talks. Exploring the various restaurants with the family and friends remains an activity close to her heart. And last but not least, our third speaker, Dr. Premalata Nair. Dr. Premalata is a senior lecturer at the Institute of Teacher Education, International Languages Campus, Kuala Lumpur. She has been serving the institution for the past 23 years. Prior to this, she has taught in both the primary and secondary schools. Throughout the years, she contributed in the MK Proforma development of IPGM, starting with the first PISMP program. She has also contributed in the research area where she has published various articles for the IPGKBA ELT Journal, English Language and Literature Teaching Journal Korea, Journal of Language Studies in UITM, Indonesian Journals of English Language Teaching, Journal of International Educational Studies, Canadian Centre of Science and Education, Journal of International Educational Studies, Canadian Centre of Science and Education, and the English Teacher Melter. Up to date, she has presented at 32 conferences locally and internationally. Right? Okay, for our discussion today, we will revolve around the three areas in creating responsible education for a dignified future. So we'll be touching on the three aspects. The first one will be 21st century learning. The second one will be the role of the IPT towards holistic teacher development. And finally, would be on universal values. Right? So now I would like to welcome our first speaker, Dr. Salvanagi, to share her thoughts about our topic today.
Thank you, Razima, for the introduction. Salam Malaysia Madani, salam IPG Peneraju Kecemerlangan Pendidikan Guru Bertaraf Dunia. A very good day to all, and it's nice to be back in Komat after 5 years. Okay, so it's coming back home kind of event. All right, now when we are talking about like what Puan Razima just said, we are looking into 21st century learning skills at the moment. It is a skill which all of us have, all teacher educators need to ensure our student teachers are aware of the 21st century pedagogy. And what is this 21st century learning skills we are talking about, or teaching skills we are talking about? Okay, the first one we are looking at is, just give me a minute. Okay, we are looking at the learning skills here, which are critical thinking, creative, collaborative, and communication. Okay, this is the first part of the learning skills which we are looking at. And we also have the literacy skill, which we look at information, media, and technology. And we look at life skills, flexibility, leadership, initiative, productivity, and social skills. Okay, for this discussion, I'll focus on the learning skills. Okay, the other skills will be looked into by my friends. Okay, what we are looking at, the first thing is the 4 C's. Yeah, it is not a cash, credit card, or condo, or cars, or cash flow, but it is the important learning skill which we are looking at: critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication. Now, when we talk about critical thinking, what do we mean by critical thinking here? When we look at critical thinking, it is more on finding solution to problems. This is what we have to give to our student teachers, which we are planning to give our student teachers, so that when they go back to school, they are able to part with this knowledge where they can mold their students to be critical thinkers. Okay, so these students can figure things out when they are in a problem. They can solve problem. And also creativity. The next C we are looking at is creativity. In creativity, we empower students to see concepts in a different light. Okay, now we are moving towards a new dimension in our education, a new dimension in our job market. So we have to prepare our students or our children. In order to prepare our children, we have to prepare our student teachers. So it is a whole new dimension we are looking at. And when we are looking at collaboration, what do they collaborate? Who do they collaborate with? At this point of time, we look at collaboration of getting students to work together. That is when in school. they work among themselves, and they get the best possible results of solving problem. Okay, they will use their critical thinking to do collaboration, and they will try to solve the problem. This is what we are giving our student teachers also. In our student teachers, how do they collaborate? We do have our deep thinking now. We have our KPPB. So that is how they collaborate among themselves and also with the outside world. And another most important thing we are looking at in our learning skill is communication. At this point of time, I think that most of us will agree that there is lack of communication among us, among our students. We I don't know whether we realize it or not, but there must be communication, and to understand this communication is very, very important for us to progress. We have to progress. We need communication. So, coming back to the question of how are teachers created towards responsible education for a dignified future, we go back to our Malaysian Education Blueprint 2013-2035. Actually, if we look at the blueprint itself, it kind of equips our students to be holistic, to allow them to succeed in this 21st century skills, or in this 21st century itself. So this blueprint, if we are following it closely, they have the critical thinking, they have creative, they are able to collaborate and communicate with various people. Okay, in order to do this, we here in this IPGs, we are actually navigating our students to ensure that students out there, they achieve what is supposed to be achieved. Okay, because there are a lot of changes in our curriculum now, especially in our curriculum that there's going to be change in 2027. Okay, we are going to create students according to the new curriculum in 2027 with the knowledge of the 21st century learning. We will be able to do all these kind of changes when we, if you had gone through COMAT Series 4 with Dr. Fazlina Said from BPK, she said the new curriculum actually intends to create students who are self-developed. Okay, they have self-developed, they are communicative, they are also responsible, and they have digital fluency. They are also multi-literacy, and lifelong learning and thinking skills are all there. So these are the basic things which will create a student or create a child to live in this changing job market, in this changing, it's a fast changing world. So we don't only need a kind of ICT, or when we talk about 21st century learning here, we are not going to look into the old 21st century learning. It is a new 21st century learning which we are looking at, where we need to look at the human factor itself. The human factor is very, very important. We do not want to create children who are machines. We want to create children who are able to go along with whatever is happening or the changes happening. Like in our IPG, we do have deep learning, and we also have interdisciplinary courses where our student teachers know the concepts and able to carry out in their own classroom. They are able to look at outside things, and they are able to work things out. Like what was also shared earlier, they look at things which are not prescribed anymore. If things are not prescribed for us, it is very liquid. It is up to the teachers uh, to mold the students, or to mold or create their classroom. So for this, in IPGs, we are helping mold the students so that they are able to do this when they are in the classroom. Okay, in IPG, there are also in our curriculum, there are a lot of activity based, where we have deep learning, where our students explore, and also they are creative and in doing the task, and it is self-paced and self-directed learning. This is what we are talking about, which will be discussed by my friend Dr. Mazni. And also in IPG, we are not only looking at ICT with the 21st century learning, we are looking at ICT, but we are also giving the students about cyber security, about ethics in using ICT, because this is very important. When we were talking about 21st century skills earlier on, like 10, 15 years ago, it was only how to use these skills in the classroom, how to use ICT in the classroom. But now we have to teach our students how to go about the cyber security. There are a lot of things which can happen to us, especially with AI around. There are a lot of changes. So we have to tell them that the ethics of it, you just don't copy and paste it on AI and let it like chat, for example, uh, only like chat GPT, it will do everything for you. But we must have some kind of values, ethics to make sure that not everything is dependent on this chat GPT. So the human values will come in, where my friend Dr. Prema will talk about it. Okay. With this, I think I'll hand over to Dr. Puan Razima.
Thank you, Dr. Salva, for the input given. Indeed, those aspects are key to be discussed in today's topic. Right, okay, next, we shall hear from Dr. Mazi, who will further elaborate on today's topic, specifically on the role of IPG.
Thank you, Warazima. All right. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to everyone out there. Yes, Dr. Salva, you mentioned a lot about, having the human factor coming in. All these, yes, taken up by the IPG. Yeah. All right. Indeed, the Institute of Teacher Education, we call ourselves as IPG, plays a vital role in preparing holistic teachers for a dignified future in education. In the context of teacher education in Malaysia, first and foremost, the relation between theory and practice is very crucial in preparing our students to be teachers to be effectively. Yeah. Before we go any further, let's look at how the curriculum of our IPG is actually developed. It's on the screen already. Now let's look at the first stage of it, which is the planning. Okay, as you can see, there are four stages altogether. We start with planning, then developing, implementing, and evaluating. Now, the planning stage of it involves careful consideration. It is not done like on a basis where you think about something and you come up with something. The program is not developed overnight. Yeah. So these careful considerations of various factors, ensuring the comprehensive preparation for future teachers. That's what we are looking into. Yeah. In the case of, okay, let's look at TESOL degree program, because we are very much involved in the TESOL degree program that we offer. Yeah. Amongst the factors involved are the data gathered from the stakeholders. Now, the stakeholders would be the school administrators, the teachers, the alumni also, their views of how they are in school nowadays. Yeah. The parents. At the same time, we have the CDL and also the CCQI data, the report from the CDL and CCQI, closing the loop, as well as the continuous curriculum quality improvement data. Yeah, the current policies in education as well. As we know, we go by what is current, and also the possible future needs in the education system, as mentioned by Dr. Salva just now. There will be changes, and changes will be there, which is also coming in 2027. So we have to look into all these consideration are taken into in the planning. Yeah. Now, focus would be in the planning would be on the program education objective. Okay, as you can see on the slides, on the slide there. the program learning outcomes. Yeah. Let's look at I have the PLOs. When we talk about the program education outcome, we look in terms of the first one would be the having the knowledge and understanding and able to apply intellectual thinking skills. Dr. Salwa also mentioned a lot in terms of thinking skills, yeah, as well as practical skills, how they are able to then teach in the classrooms, yeah, in the teaching of English as a second language, in line with current development in the field of education. Now, it's not just for the field of English as a second language, it can be for other programs as well, yeah. The second program education objective focuses on applying appropriate communication, okay, and interpersonal skills. All these are involved, yeah, in the teaching of English as a second language, in managing organizational relationships across various cultures, pivoting on ethics. Dr. Salva mentioned about ethics as well, values, and professional practice codes. Now, in terms of values, Dr. Prema will then will discuss in detail, yeah. Uh, for the third program education objective, demonstrating basic mathematical and statistical skills and able to integrate information and communication technology, the ICT coming in, yeah, when engaging in daily tasks in the teaching of English as a second language. Now, we don't just see mathematics and statistical, related to only courses or programs related to maths. It can also be, looked into when it comes to TESOL, yeah, teaching English as a second language. Now, the fourth program education objective focuses on the student teachers to be able to develop relationships and work as a team, yeah, professionally, responsibly, competitively, and globally, yeah, as well as enhancing entrepreneurial skills. We don't just think that teachers, when they go and become a teacher, they are not involved in entrepreneurial skills, yeah, entrepreneurial skills towards career development and sustainability in the teaching of English as a second language. Okay, those are the program education objectives, which are actually the basis of the program development. Then come the program learning outcomes as well as the course learning outcomes later. Yeah. Okay. Now, in the process of developing the curriculum, of course, we look into, as I mentioned just now, the course learning outcome, which then would determine the teaching and learning activities as well as assessment. Yeah. Both of these are based on the student learning time. We call it SLT, reflected from the credit hours that we have for the courses that we give out for the students. Then we implement the program. In the process of implementing the program, yeah, the classes, professional talks, blended learning that comes into picture, the e-learning, which is also the focus now, the study tours that we can have, the case studies, project-based learning, all this coming into picture. This is actually making sure that 21st century learning skills are being introduced as well. Yeah, the program goes through the evaluation after the implementation. It goes through the evaluation part of it. Now, that is when the CDL and the CCQI report comes in. Now, this is done to make sure the courses conducted are sufficient for the students, for our student teachers. If whether it's to make sure that it's sufficient, yeah, for the teachers. If not, there will be slight changes made. But these slight changes the changes are not made like overnight or something like that. It is with discussions with experts. Yeah. All right. So all these are taken into consideration when the program is developed, and there are also some other considerations, yeah, taken in to make sure that our student teachers can be very effective when they go out into the real world scenario of teaching. Yeah. Now, the theoretical knowledge provides a foundation for educational principles, and approaches in education. Now, courses like we offer courses like theory and practice. One, there are also theory and practice two. Then we have, when it comes to the education papers, we have the philosophy of education. At the same time, they also learn about child psychology. These are all to get them to build their uh, foundation, yeah, their theories in this aspect of teaching. Now, while the practical experiences allows these student teachers to apply the theories in real world classroom settings. Now, how do they get this from? How are they given this exposure? They go out for practicum. All right, they go out for, at first they go out for school-based experience. They have two phases of school-based experience. They learn, gather data about what is there, what is out there. This is what we call on-site learning. You know, apart from giving them exposure, knowledge, while having the classes with the students, what we do, we give them, it's a course by itself, the school-based experience. They go out and gather data to help them to understand and to explore more about what is there in the education world. Yeah, especially in the classroom, the schools and the classroom. Yeah, the IPG program integrate both theory and practice through a combination of coursework, field experiences, and teaching practicums to ensure that these student teachers are well equipped. That's the reason, yeah, to meet the diverse needs of pupils in the classroom. Okay, the teaching practicum, as I said, provides the opportunities for the student teachers to carry out lessons and practice in a supportive environment. Now, what is meant by supportive here? It's very I just want to say out things like, um, the administrators, the teachers. We have cooperating teachers who are very involved in making sure that these teacher trainees, our student teachers, uh, are well exposed and well equipped with the right knowledge to be able to become teachers. And the support from them is just great. We really appreciate, yeah, the school administrators who are always willing to take in our practicum teachers, our student teachers for practicum. And not to forget, yeah, as I mentioned, the operating teachers just now. Now, in a way, these are the things that would actually guide them to become effective teachers. So all these are in. At the same time, we also have reflective practice, which is also emphasized in the program, encouraging the student teachers to critically analyze their teaching experiences, integrate theoretical concepts into their practice, yeah, and continuously improving their teaching methods. Almost all the courses, most of the courses gets them to reflect. There are many tasks or coursework which gets them to reflect on what is given to them and what they experience, so which actually helps them to become to improve and to learn from whatever that they have learned. Yeah. Now, these student teachers are also involved in collaborative learning environments. Yeah, they engage in discussions, group projects, peer teaching activities, which I believe, of course, working alone, working with groups, they learn a lot more from others. Uh, Learning from peers, learning from lecturers who are around them, would actually make them gain more in terms of the teaching process. Yeah, that is the ultimate aim of the teaching program, the program. Yeah, these collaborative experience enable them to share insights, exchange ideas, and collectively explore the application of theoretical concepts that they have learned, yeah, in various teaching contexts. And enhancing this would make them enhance their understanding of the relation between the theory and the practice that they learn. Yeah. Other than that, we also have the professional development opportunities which comes in. Yeah. Where we include workshops, some for storytelling, for example, for storytelling in the primary ESL classroom. We get the experts to come and give them talks, carry out workshops, yeah, so that they are equipped well. in terms of the strategies, the methods, to be able to, at the end of the day, to become effective teachers. Yeah. Now, these opportunities, or not only the workshops, yeah, the seminars, the conferences, mentorship programs that we have, yeah, all these are actually brought in to deepen these student teachers' theoretical knowledge, refine their instructional skills, and stay abreast of emerging trends. Yeah, and research in education. They are also involved in research. The first one would be their what course is that? The fundamentals of research. Then they work on the research project itself. Yeah. By participating in all these sorts of activities, they can actually bridge the gap between theory and practice. That's what we want them to do. Now, at the end of the day, we want them to remain informed, yeah, by the latest educational theories and best practices. So only through this way that they will be able to do all this. Yeah. Okay, talking about the latest course information. Let's look at the next slide. Now, in the development of the latest course information, yeah, we looked at the learning outcomes. There are 11 of them, yeah, which actually deals with the 21st century learning skills. At the same time, the values that teachers need to have. So as you can see, the knowledge and understanding level, that they need to have, the cognitive skills, the practical skills, interpersonal skills. I've mentioned all this just now. Now, communication skills. One of the courses which has been brought in is classroom language for teachers, where we thought these teachers need to have some kind of knowledge in terms of how to give out instructions, how to communicate with the pupils in the classroom, to be able to get them to work, to be able to understand what's happening in the classroom, all these things, which are very important. Then the digital skills coming in. As we know now, we have this Madani concept coming in. We have digital courses which focus on digital aspects of it, and we have innovations. Yeah, leadership, autonomy, responsibility. Of course, as teachers, you have to have these qualities. Becoming the leaders, being responsible. Yeah. Personal skills, entrepreneurial skills, as well as ethics and professionalism. Now, when we talk about ethics, it's very important. Dr. Sawa also mentioned something related to ethics just now, which is the utmost important or very vital for all the teachers to have, especially when you're writing, when you're teaching, yeah, when we have our student teachers going out as teachers, we need them to have this values, yeah, in them. All right. Now, moving on to the course information itself, we have distributed, all the courses into the content part, content knowledge, pedagogical knowledge, proficiency. Now, when it comes to content knowledge, yeah, papers like the education papers, yeah, like let's say falsafah pendidikan, perkembangan pendidikan di Malaysia, which is very important for these our student teachers to know, to understand. As I mentioned, the psychology involved in teaching, sociology in education, assessment in education. All these courses are very theory based, and they need to understand these parts as basis, knowledge for them to have, for them to have that particular knowledge. All right. So basically, those are the things that we looked into, and proficiency. Yeah, it's very important for if we look in terms of the TESOL teachers teaching English as a second language. We need them to have certain level of proficiency, as we know our teachers need to achieve C1, and we are always working towards that. When we have courses like English Language Skills 1, looking at using or having the language for academic purpose, using the language for social purposes, and then how you use language to manage certain activities and things like that. Yeah. And of course, as I mentioned, the classroom language for teachers, it also develops their proficiency level. Yeah. Now, when it comes to the student learning time, we have lecture, tutorial, practical, and others coming in. And when it comes to others, we can actually bring in workshops. We can bring in um, experts to have talks, yeah, or take them to field trips or to learn more about education. And then the e-learning part coming in to get our student teachers to explore more about the content of the courses. Yeah. Then the coursework coming in is, of course, when we have coursework, we have examinations as well. All right. Now the soft skills, which will be dealt more by Dr. Prema. There are cognitive skills, all those that I have mentioned just now. The most important part of it would be the ethics, values, and professionalism. So hopefully, Dr. Prema will share more light in the topic.
Hopefully.
Right. Yeah, Dr. Prema. All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr.
Okay.
Masni, for the insights about the role of IPG. So, of course, we have so many programs, activities, and courses conducted by IPG for us to produce teachers, okay, for our schools. Okay, next one, we'll have Dr. Prema. So, she will talk about on the universal values in relation to our topic today.
Thank you, Puan Razima, and thank you, everybody. Welcome, okay, to this series of Komat. I think I would like to start with a scenario. Okay, I think it'd be interesting to listen to this. It's not created. I went through it myself. I think just before lockdown, many years ago. By the way, my father will turn 92 tomorrow. So he had this medical appointment. On and off, he has to go to the hospital. It so happened I was there in my hometown, and I had to take him to the hospital. Okay, I've shared this story with my students, and he had to see the eye doctor. After long waiting hours. Old people is very difficult. They don't have this patience to wait. Somehow we managed to get in. There were 3 people inside, the main doctor and the other doctor, I assume must be a mentor to this doctor that we are seeing, and the nurse. All right. So there is a stool and with the equipment. All right. So he said, okay, Uncle, sila duduk. My father sat the other way around, facing opposite the equipment. All right. And what happened when my father sat the opposite way, the other 3 laughed. I was a bit offended. I was like, why are they laughing at my father? He was 80 something years old. He could not understand what they were saying. I didn't know what to do at first. They were laughing at him, and then I told Acha, please turn the other way around. Okay, and he turned towards the doctor, and then they were laughing, and then they would say, okay, check the eyes and all that, and then they say, okay, take medication, and then we left. I was not happy. When I left, I went back inside. I said to my father, can you sit for a while? I went in, and another person joined me. I was just thinking, why is this lady going in back again? And I told the doctor, excuse me, doctor. Okay, he just looked like Puan Razima, very young. Okay, and then I asked, where did you get your education from? And then he was like stunned that I asked that question. I introduced myself. I say I'm an educator. What you did just now to my father was wrong. Okay? And they all was very silent. They waited for me to say what I wanted to say. Today I can't remember what I actually said. I just told them off. I said, I'm not angry at you, but you need to have certain human value in you. Okay? Patients do come in and out. Some of them may not even know. Like a doctor can say, I'm sorry to say you have conjunctivitis. And you say, oh my God, am I going to die, doctor? You may not know the meaning of the term. Yeah, okay, it's just sore eyes. Okay, so don't worry. You just use this medication, use the cream, and you'll be okay within a week. You need to know how to speak to people. All right. So that's the point I'm trying to make here is that just now my 2 colleagues mentioned about what is there in the MK. How are we approaching our teaching towards our future teachers? Theory is one thing, practice is another. We try our level best for them to go through everything, including practical, when they are back in school. All right, they apply what they practice. Sometimes it works, sometimes it does not work.
Yeah.
All right, that's reality of life. Okay. And another point I would like to mention is that those were the days when teachers were produced. They do not multitask. They are expert in something. Okay, you are good at this field. You are well known for that particular field. Today, the more you multitask, the more you are respected. Say, wow, that teacher, she can do A unto Z. She is an excellent teacher. All right. It's okay if you're able to multitask, but it is not okay if you compromise with the quality. Okay. So studies have mentioned that more the more you multitask, the more distractible and prone to errors will occur. Okay, this is mentioned. I didn't say this, and also you will lead to poorer attention on cognitive tasks. Okay, so this I think the easiest scenario I can give is Australian MasterChef. I'm sure everyone has seen that program. And when you have this pressure test, they're supposed to do something, and at the end, one person will be eliminated. All right. And then you will see all the 3 or 4 stoves will be on, and they were putting something, and they're trying to cook something, and they will run to the pantry, come and get something. And last 1 minute, they will still run to the pantry to get something. I will be like, oh my God, will they make it? How are they going to come up with the end product? And of course, the judges would actually taste and say, all right, quality wise is okay, but the presentation is not okay. So you can see the pressure that is mounting just based on multitasking. All right, it is good but not good at the same time. All right, so what are we doing here? By the way, I wanted to give Johnny Restaurant as an outlet, as an example. If you go to Johnny restaurant, you have that what humanoid robot, serving drinks, certain types of food. Then suddenly I saw Zane AI. I assume Zane is an AI. I'm not sure because it doesn't look human to me, but that is the closest that you can get to human. All right. So what is happening today is that robots, we are creating robots to be like humans. And on the other way around, humans are now trained to be like robots through multitasking. So I don't know where did it go wrong? Why are we in that kind of situation? Okay. So we as humans, we are now, like what Dr. Selva mentioned, trying to humanize humans. That is very sad. Okay, when we see that, oh, well, we're trying to humanize human. All right. So this scenario, like it's like quite scary. Okay, when we think about it. All right. If you look at the Maslow theory, okay, I will just show this. All right. This is the basic thing that we learn in schools and in universities. I'm sure you're familiar with this theory. The one that I highlighted, okay, for love and belonging, friendship and family, very, very important. But are we ignoring our friendship? Are we ignoring our own family to pursue what we want to pursue? Okay. And also respect for others. That is the self-esteem. Okay. The higher level. Do we have that respect for others, or are we thinking of ourselves? Okay. I was back in my hometown last weekend. So on Sunday, I took the commuter from New Central to Kajang. So while thinking about what am I going to say today, I counted the number of people in my coach, ladies coach. There were 13 of us, including myself. And out of the 13, okay, we had 9 with the handphone on. They were holding the handphone. Out of the 9, 7 were looking at their handphone doing something. They were not making a call, but one of them was smiling and happy with themselves, not with other people around them. Okay, and the rest, they were just sitting down, maybe waiting for their station. Okay, so out of this, the 7 could only hear next station Mid Valley. Okay, and then they can hear that, and if it's their station, then they will just get down. Other than that, they will not lift their eyes to see who's around them. So I was the only one, the observer. I was thinking, wow, I'm doing a research here. So I was thinking, wow, this is where we are now. All right, the new generation that Dr. Selva mentioned about the 6 C's: communication, collaboration. Okay, are we communicating with each other? I am guilty. When I talk about communication, it reminded me of our late Dr. Guna. Okay, he will never fail to say good morning every time he enters level 4. Okay, and I will be the first one to be there, and he will come in maybe around 7 or so, and he will say good morning. Sometimes I say hi, good morning. Sometimes I will just ignore and look at my desktop. and I felt very guilty. I said, that one friendship that you have had, you just missed it by like just ignoring at times. When someone say good morning, just raise your head and look at that person and say, hi, good morning. So this is the quality that we want in our new generation today. All right. So having said all this, so IPGM, okay, has taken initiative. All right. We are aware of what is happening around us. So we are taking initiative to educate future teachers in order to be a better generation. Okay. So how it is that made possible? For example, inclusion of certain courses. Dr. Mazri mentioned some of the courses, especially like research. We want our students to do research because teachers are researchers, all right, besides other roles that they are supposed to lead on. So one example would be introduction to storytelling. We have a course on that, songs and poems. We have drama, we have plays. Okay, all these are embedded in the curriculum. Why? Not to say that we have to put the list and say, well, this is done. We have done our job. That's fine. Okay, we will produce good future teachers. All right. But the thing is, we want them to have a piece of everything, so that when they go for practicum, especially, they will learn how can they transfer the theory into practice. Like I mentioned just now, it may work, it may not work. It's okay. All right. I would like to share something. I actually carried, because they were asking me, what are you carrying? This is actually a sample record book of one of my practicum students way back in 2010. I'm still keeping this until today because of her reflection. Okay. So there's one part I would like to quote from her reflection. Last night, I spent about a few minutes every half hour looking at their class seating plans and names. I memorized them all and where their class sitting they were sitting. So I look at each person when I call them out to answer or read a dialogue out loud. So they knew I knew them. Okay, I wasn't calling out at random. They were shocked, but it was a good shock, an appreciative one. They were scared of me still, but I had gotten their interest. Okay, when it was me, I remembered a teacher doing that to me in school. In that student position, I thought, that particular teacher, she's crazy. She needs to get some friends. We just met her yesterday and she knows all of us. I felt powerful. So this is a sample of a reflection, how this particular student were reflecting what happened in the classroom. This is actually what we want.
Our teacher trainers.
Actually, it's not just like memorizing, understanding what they have learned, but when you apply it in the classroom, you need to know how to balance. Okay?
Personalize it.
Oh yeah, you can personalize it. That's why we're very much emphasizing on the 6C, especially creativity, critical thinking, and innovation. Communication.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of them are communicating today. I mean, we are lucky. I mean, the four of us are seated here and we are talking to each other. I mean, since morning, Dr. Selva just called me. Okay, Prema, okay, we have this, and Dr. Mazri called me. It's through the phone, it's not face to face, right? So I think we need to bring that back, those values back. Yeah. All right. How many of us actually, when we go out to the restaurant or we are queuing up, and then we see an elderly lady ordering and then being seated, and then the chef will say, okay, your food is ready. She will take her own sweet time to go to the counter and get the food. Instead, why not you take the food and pass it to her? Say, hello, auntie, this is your food meal, that kind of thing. How many of us would actually dare do that? Many are very much into the phone. Okay, I'm looking at the phone. All right, and
While waiting for people.
and not concerned with what's happening around us. So that's the thing. Yeah. So based on the courses that I mentioned just now, why we are introducing storytelling, songs and poems, why we want even language arts to be taught to our students, right? Because all these literary genres actually tap into their imagination. Okay, I'm not saying other courses do not have that, they do, but we emphasize more on the theoretical part, okay, what you're supposed to do, pedagogical aspect. But here we, through storytelling, for example, let them play around with stories, find suitable stories that they can apply in the classroom. Okay, what would happen if you tell the stories to your students? what kind of imagination would they have, I think you watched the movie Oppenheimer, right? How did he came up with that atomic bomb is through his imagination when he saw the ripples in the water, right? So
We wondered
yeah,
what happened.
right. So we want our students to be innovative, right? And then, of course, through their imagination, they would actually refine their communication skills when they are communicating with their friends. Okay, that we want very much. Storytelling, they may memorize the stories. It's fine. It's fine for them to memorize, but we want them to gain confidence to speak in front of the public. All right, so that they have that confidence when they go back to into the classroom, they're able to use all this that they have learned, especially all the activities on how to come up with stories using stones, all right, clay, etc. All right, so all this needs to be taken back to the classroom and hope they explore and experiment with all these things, right? And emotion. I take a quote which I got from one of the book. It's emotional connections and empathy are crucial. If you Google, and you will find out that this phrase is constantly being used. All right, emotional connections and empathy are crucial, very crucial, and seen very very lacking. All right, do we really understand people? Okay. I don't know whether do you really need to have that skill to understand people, or do you use your common sense? All right, sometimes situation leads you to make certain decision that is humanistic in that manner. All right, and not based on yeah, you may say logic is important, but sometimes that humanistic value needs to be there. Yeah. So that I think so far, I just like to one more point that I would like to add on is that we have the 6 key attributes, okay, under the uh, Ministry of Education, okay, the 5 aspiration system of MOE, which is access, quality, equity, unity, and efficiency. All right. And ethics and spirituality are highly emphasized. Yeah, we really need to have that
We need that.
in every course that we are teaching in the classroom. We can bring this in. Not saying that when I'm doing research, I can't bring that in. Ethics in research. Do you copy? Are you using AI? ChatGPT? All right. So are you allowing ChatGPT? Okay, please do literature review for me. Okay. And then you have the whole list and then copy and paste and it's done. All right. So ethics is very, very important. And also when we acquire all these things, it would lead to a national identity, create our a positive national identity. All right. And finally, to emphasize on the shift 3, that is the development of values driven Malaysians. I think this is what we are trying to achieve. Like mentioned earlier, through the new curriculum, we are giving the autonomy to the teachers in schools to decide on assessment, especially. I think that is a good move. So hopefully that works on.
Okay.
I think they're given the cue. Okay, you have less than 15 minutes. All right, I think I better stop here. Back to you, Puan Razima.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Prema. So I couldn't agree more with all the points you mentioned just now. Okay, indeed, because we are more, we emphasize more on intellectual IQ instead of EQ. So
Right.
we need to have balance of that, right? So perhaps before we can get questions from the audience, okay, perhaps I have one question for Dr. Prema.
Oh.
Okay. So how far do you think the teacher training institution be able to produce holistic teachers? I mean, what are the challenges?
Oh, okay.
Perhaps can be elaborate.
A good question and yet a difficult one to answer. Okay. I don't have the answer to that. Okay. Why I say that is because we have many different types of students. All right. And based on this variety of students, there will be a few who may not really matured in that sense, get what you're trying to convey to them. Okay? But we try our level best through the new MK, through the new courses that is being introduced. But their challenge, you can actually only see the changes that has taken place when they are doing their practicum, and after that, when they are posted to schools.
So on that, Dr. Prema, I also think that communication is the key to everything. The moment they can communicate, that means they are open to the good and the bad. So the moment they are there to share their feelings, they are there they think that, okay, I am safe to share my feelings now. They can communicate. So then they can break the barrier. Anything can be absorbed. Whatever we are giving them can be absorbed. And they should always learn to have or take things fun in life. Do not get tensed up. I feel that why do you need to get tensed up unnecessarily? Take it as it comes. That is what I have been going through in my career pathway, I would say.
I think for the past 1 hour.
Yeah. Take it as it comes. Like what you were saying about people looking at the phone and all that. You see, even now in our social structure, we have like 1 or 2 child in the family or children in the family. So there they don't have communication. So when they come out to the open, it is difficult for them to have the communication. So I think that when we are in the classroom, we are lecturing, we should allow them to communicate. We should allow them to be independent, share their feelings, those kind of things. We shouldn't be like prescribing things to them. It's kind of very prescriptive life in the classroom, I feel. So we should let them enjoy, let the children enjoy, not only our students, the students they are going to bring. Because when we go for practicum, especially our students will stand there and say, keep quiet, get this done. We as lecturers sitting at the back, I get tensed up. I say, why? Let them enjoy it. So I think the communication part is the most important part. I don't know, that's my feel, my thought about it.
Our students actually, when it comes to communication and so on, they are also exposed to all these co-curricular activities that we also have, like the uniform bodies, the BIG that they are involved in. Bina Insan Guru, character building for our teachers. I guess in these courses, they're involved in a lot of, collaboration, and also involved in communication in one way or another. And at the same time, our students are also involved in hosting the sports. In doing so, they're actually involved in all these different situations which involves communication as well. So hopefully, we don't want them to be stressed in this case, but learn through all these activities and cope.
Coming to think of that, I think it's also our mindset. Maybe, especially myself and Dr. Selva, we are the dinosaurs, going to extinct soon. You see, sometimes the way we think, I came from this school of thought where, the traditional way of teaching is the best method.
Strict.
You're very strict. I am a very strict teacher, even a lecturer. You can ask any of my students. They're afraid to see me. Okay, maybe the look over the years it came like that. I think what I would like to share is that during our recent practicum, I had 2 students under me. Both were different in various ways. For example, the first one, she is very not motherly. That's not the term I would use. Very friendly with her students in the class. Hi dear. That kind of. For me, like, my first thought, oh no, who's supposed to do that? You are the teacher.
You have to have some kind of a barrier.
Okay, but of course I didn't say that to her. But over the weeks, I realized where she's coming from. She's, very, very good with her students. And the interesting part was that the students were listening to her.
Because she has built that relationship.
Correct, that relationship. Yes. Okay. So I think we as educators need to be open-minded as well. Not like restricting and enforcing our beliefs into our students.
Perhaps I have one question for Dr. Mazni. All right. What do you think perhaps you can give us a specific examples? What are the things that we don't have before the revised curriculum in comparison to now? Perhaps because if you look at the curriculum development, it's having all the big term like planning, evaluating. Perhaps you can go a specific example of courses, the things that we do.
Okay. There were actually slight changes. But in terms of the courses that we are offering beginning 2021, it started in 2021, the use of the latest MKs. We focus more in terms of building the our student teachers proficiency level. Okay, that is which is very important nowadays. Yeah, not only nowadays, it has been there. Proficiency level has to be there. A good level of proficiency. Yeah. Then apart from that, the pedagogical papers, papers based on pedagogy, papers like teaching in practice. All this while it has been just teaching of reading and writing, teaching of listening and speaking, teaching of grammar, and we had language arts for that matter. Yeah, but now we have uh, integrated language teaching, where all these skills, all the skills, the 4 skills are integrated, and the teaching would be more effective in that way. And we have brought in all these the other
Elective
papers like what Dr. Prema mentioned just now, the storytelling coming in, storytelling in primary ESL classroom, how to make storytelling fun in a classroom so that they learn better. Pupils can learn storytelling, learn language through storytelling. And then we have the songs and poems coming in so that the classroom would be more lively. Yeah. We didn't have that back then. Okay. Then now we have effective public speaking coming into picture so that they are able to be effective speakers. Yeah. In that sense, of course, as a teacher, you need to have that. Other than that would be the drama, which has been there. The courses have been improved, revised. Now, in a way that the course work as well as the exam have been revised. Okay, and the topics to be covered for the certain CLOs, the course learning outcome. That's about
I think we also have
more focused.
Yeah, where they can develop, when the students develop their own teaching materials, so that will,
that will be a course on
creativity.
material evaluation and design, so that they learn from the courses, being exposed to them.
Okay, so thank you for all our 3 panelists, right? Okay, I think I'll just summary. Okay, sum up what are the packages for today's topic. Okay, so based on the theme of the colloquium, so responsible education for a dignified future. Okay, so the forum underscores initiative by IPGM to fulfill the government's goal of preparing Malaysian children for the demands of the 21st century. Okay, so the discussion focuses on the steps taken by IPGM to realize this vision, highlighting 3 key areas. Okay, so which are 21st century learning, ensuring Malaysian education with the global standards, aligned with global standards. Then we talk about holistic teacher development, emphasizing on the crucial role of IPGM in fostering comprehensive growth among educators. And finally, we talk about universal values, exploring how these values contribute to a dignified future. Okay, so each point has been thoroughly discussed, illustrating IPGM's commitment to educating future teachers in Malaysia. Right, so thank you again for the sharing, right? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so we have come to the end of the session. So personally, I've learned a lot, okay, from this sharing, and I hope you do so. Okay, once again, on behalf of Institute of Teacher Education International Languages Campus, IPGKBA, thank you, okay, for the our 3 speakers, and also thank you for your our technical team led by Mr. Satya, Mr. Daini, Mr. Fazzi, and Mr. Azri. And not to forget our counterpart from Educational Technology and Resources Division, PSTP, Ministry of Education Malaysia, led by Mr. Kevin Raj and Mr. Jenny Chiang. Right, so I think that's about all. Okay, please do not forget to watch our next webinar series, the 4th one. That will be tomorrow morning. Right, so we say jumpa lagi. Till then, bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.